Monday evening. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. It's your man, 50 Grand Kevin Barnes, and I am the host of Outlaw Radio. I'm known as the militant with a microphone, aka the Negro Whisperer in some circles. And some people just refer to me as the world-class smartass. How you doing on a Monday night? 414 stand up, Black Milwaukee stand up, Black America stand up. Foundational Black America, stand up. This is for you. I'm not alone, as usual. I got my co-host with me, man, my partner. He's not a businessman. He is a business
man.
What's popping with you, Mr. Carter?
Black business, black-owned business. Peace, family. How y'all doing? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture, teacher, hood, healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama, there go the sea mouse
man. There we go.
Let's get this shit cracking.
How you doing, man? How you doing? Happy holiday season to you. How was your weekend? How was your week? How was your week? Your weekend, your week? I haven't seen you. I haven't spoken to you in a week.
The weekend, everything was great, man. You know what I mean? It was dope. Saw a lot of people from the schoolhouse came down to the store Saturday. So it was weird how like a lot of people from high school just start popping up. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the night, Saturday night, one of my homies from high school had a 50th year birthday party. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it was dope, man.
Now are you class of 94?
93.
Oh, okay. So you actually older than me. Or did you just go to, is your birthday before? What's the cutoff date?
I started late. My birthday in December. I just graduated in 93.
Oh, okay. So you older than me. I never knew you was older than me. I never knew.
74.
Oh yeah, you got me by a year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I'm glad you had a great weekend. I what can I say? My daughter, who is a senior in college, is home. Crazy. She just turned 21, right? Like Saturday was her birthday. And I'm like, damn, I got a 21-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And it went so fast because I tell y'all, I literally remember just my little girl with the barrettes and the big braids in her head dancing around, drawing or something, or like just being her. And she's like a young lady now, she's a senior in college. But yeah, man, so it was her birthday. Son had a basketball game. He's a senior in high school. He's 17. He'll be 18 coming up. I'm like, damn. You don't think you say, I got grown kids.
Right.
Like I'm about to be in that club.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Y'all share the show. It's a number actually attached to the show. And it's 262-202-5131. Once again, it's 262-202-5131. Our chat room is on deck. As a matter of fact, Ernest Walker's already in the chat room. Shout out to Ewalk. He said, Walk's World, Outlaws. Okay, have it your way, my brother. Hey, Blast in the building. He said, happy birthday, Tay. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy. And shout out to everybody who wished my baby girl, and I don't I don't put my personal business on Facebook because you don't know shit like that. Mm-hmm. But, I will post my kids' birthdays or any kind of, something that's important. And so, a lot of people, it just goes to remind me of how many people I actually know. And then there's a lot of people on there who I don't know. I guess they just joined in the fun. It was like, happy birthday. I'm like, who the hell is that? So yeah, it was a dope weekend, man. It was a dope weekend. Family time is what it's all about, man. At this stage, man, you're supposed to really spend more time with your family than anybody else. But I also want to say, shout out to everybody out there who likes to try to spin the narrative that there are no black fathers, or that we as black men are majority of us are derelict fathers, absentee fathers, deadbeat, dads. Like I know so many brothers who go to the fences for their children. I mean, there for them in every sense, in every way they could be. And I'm one of them. Yeah, I was one of those dads. I was one of those dads when I had small children. I enjoyed it, right? Like, cause I guess I'm kind of like a big kid at heart, if you really get to know me. Um, so them trips to the park and going to get ice cream and hamburgers and candy, I think I might have been more excited than them. But all the times when I would be out with mine somewhere, I would always see a couple of other brothers out with theirs, and it'd be like, like that little head nod, like, "What up, bro? What up with you, man? Ain't nothing. Saturday in the park with my babies." And so, shout out to you, man. If you a black father out there, man, you know, I like the fact that you shout out black business, but I want to shout out black fathers, man. I want to shout out all the brothers, even if you here's the lick. Even if you're going through something with the mother of your children, right? Whatever it may be, because your relationship with her and the kids should not be affected. Although we know, it don't always work out that way. But shout out to the fathers who still go through the bullshit just so they can have a relationship with their kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even tripping, man. I'm focused on my babies. Shout out to the brothers who with their babies' moms or their mothers, the mother of their children, and they ain't got no drama like that.
Right.
They
Hey, you
just
know what?
enjoying it.
Hey, yeah, you know what? What I noticed, like a lot of the time in the beginning, you know what I mean? Like in the beginning of the breakup is when kid fathers usually had the most problems, you know what I'm saying, with the kid's mother. But let me tell you, man, just hold strong, brothers. Just hold strong. Don't go dipping back in the pot. Don't go dipping back in the pot. That's when you're going to keep having them problems. Go cold turkey. Cold turkey when it's over.
Yeah, yeah.
You won't have so many baby mama problems, I'm telling you.
It's so many false narratives written on us as brothers out that are out there, and a lot of these are accepted as truth, right? And it's a lot of it's just it's just false. And I think that's why I have so much fun doing this show, because I can speak from a perspective of a brother who's not irresponsible in that regard, not a
Right.
deadbeat dad, not an absentee father. And I've always been the type of father that I wanted to be involved with my children. I wanted to be in their life, So shout out to my father who actually kind of laid the groundwork of that for me, because I had a good pops, right? I didn't come from a broken home. But yeah, man, shout out to you, man. I like to give us our props when we deserve them, man. Hey, Blast in the chat room. He says, shout out to the brothers who want to do, but are denied the chance to want to do. Okay. Okay. I think I get
I
what you're
get that.
saying.
I get that. Brothers that want to, but they denied, and that's what I was alluding to. You know what I mean? When I was like, a lot of the time in the beginning of that breakup process is when it's a lot of them problems. Some brothers be trying to be in their kids' lives, and then you got the mothers that may or may not allow them to be in their lives. That's where things can get toxic and it get hard on brothers too, especially, they be wanting the child support all at the same time, man, and talking like it's state money and no, it's for this child. But
Yes.
it just
Yes.
be a bunch of problems, you know what I mean, in the beginning. That's why I say, just hold strong, brothers. Just hold strong. Don't go dipping back in the pot. You know what I mean? That's just your kid's mother. That's it. You know what I mean? Leave it at that. You know what I mean? Take care of your kids. When it's over, it's over. You're just making it worse for your child.
Yeah. And I like what you when you say don't go dipping back in the pond, right? Like
Right.
creating an illusion that
Yeah, that is
we
finna
could
work.
possibly, yeah.
Because
You said
like, and then you get it to where it's like, no, they tell each other, no, we ain't together, we ain't together, we just friends until one of them get caught. Until one
sneaking
of them get
behind,
caught.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Then they
Yeah.
out of order and shit. Now it's a problem again.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. Just don't go dipping back in the pond, man.
And brothers who want to do but are not being allowed to do, I want you all to understand that you have legal rights in the court of law.
Yeah, go
Like,
on down
and
here.
you don't need Johnny Cochran to do it. You can go down there and say I'm this, I'm that, and they'll set you up. They'll put you with someone who could get you where you need to be. It's a process. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, but you don't have to live. You don't have to like live with that. Because I think when it comes down to it, your child is gonna probably say, "Yeah, I hear that, but you supposed to fought with all you had." You know what I'm saying? You wasn't supposed to just cop out and be like, "Man, fuck it, then." Because your kid gonna be like, "Man." So yeah,
Right.
man. Shout out to the brothers, man. Shout out to the brothers. Yeah. He says, Sean Moore, what it do, man? The host of the Sip and Talk podcast, Sean Moore. Right, right. Ablaz says, question: how do we decipher from those who are half-assed versus the brother who goes full court? Numbers don't lie. First of all, I mean, you got to think about it. How
Well,
is your child living, right? So and Kamar, I'm gonna let you answer this because you probably are closer to this experience than me. But I'm saying numbers don't lie, meaning how is your child living? Are you in one place living good, high off the hog, living fly, and your child somewhere struggling? If you are, that's a red flag. If you are broke and your child is somewhere struggling and you just letting it go by, that's a red flag. You're in trouble. Because you gotta, just for the sake of the child, you gotta say, I gotta figure something out. It ain't just about me no more. So when I say who goes, that's the first thing. Numbers don't lie. But two, time is more valuable than money. So really being able to go and get your kid and really be able to have somewhere safe to take them and be able to spend that time with them, being involved in their, I show up at the school. I'm at the basketball game. I'm at what you say, where you gonna be at your birthday party. I ain't gotta come mess with your mama. Time is valuable. So I would
yeah.
say the financial part and the time are the most important things to determine whether or not you're half-assed or you're going all out. Go ahead, Kamar.
I think I agree with you. I agree with you. You know what I mean? It's the financial part and the time. Sometimes men had jobs where they can't spend so much time or they gone most of the time, but now it's a point of what's more important in that man's life. His kids or his kicking the time with his buddies and shit. You know what I mean? So the little time that a man has now has to be for that. You know what I mean? For his kids. Personally, I feel like we don't need to be nowhere if our kids can't be there with us. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't go nowhere I can't take my daughter.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So ain't no way I'm gonna not have no time for my daughter. You know what I'm saying? She can be with me at any time, any given time, whenever
I'll
she
make
want to be.
time.
You
I'll
know
make
what I
time.
mean? We can make time. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a way to tell. You know what I mean? And then you look at the track record. You know what I mean? How have they been with their kids? You know what I mean? How devoted are they? How devoted have they been to their kids? Just look at them. You know what I mean? And make a decision to yourself. That's how you
Mm.
would figure it out. I mean, decipher it. But yeah, I
Vince
agree with you
Tony,
with financial
Vince
and time.
Tony, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
What's
How you
up,
doing?
boss? Can you
What
guys
up,
hear me?
Vince?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. We can see you too. All right. What's going on with you, Vince? How you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing great, to be honest with you, considering everything that's going on.
Okay. Okay.
Spent the weekend in Gurney with my sister. She had her first chemo treatment last weekend, so I went and hung out with her and make sure she's good.
All right. Welcome to
Yeah,
the show. Been a
appreciate
while
it.
since you've been on with us. Been a while since you've been on with us.
Yeah, it's been
Um,
a while.
and if y'all don't know, let me like set because Vince is somebody who's very deeply entrenched in neighborhood affairs, community affairs. Vince is controversial because Vince earned his outlaw status because yeah, everybody hates Chris, everybody hates Vince, right? Like Vince, you're not the most popular person in these groups in these neighborhoods, and people, your name is it's always contentious. So why do you think it's been that way? Why do you think you kind of gotten that reputation?
Well, I think I was downtown a couple of weeks ago, and we are talking about with some guys at a cigar shop. We are talking about the different politicians, and evidently my name came up in the conversation. And what they said about me is that I'm an agitator. So I think that's it, Kev. I mean, they nailed it. That I educate people because I'm more concerned about the community and the wellness of our kids and our elders than they are. So, and I call people out on their garbage, and they don't like being called out.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, you've bumped heads with elected officials in public, in private, right?
yeah,
You know, always down to say, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on." And people like, "Oh man, here you go again." But you do a lot of other stuff though,
yeah,
and I can say this: you do a lot of other stuff because you mentor, you tend to the elderly and the down, the sick people, and you do cleanups. You walk around and give out garbage pickers, and you clean up the area. So it's crazy that you have this kind of like rebel reputation, but you do all these, and not only that, you are a homeowner of 30 plus years in this area. Come
yeah.
on, man, y'all stop it.
And my philosophy, Kev, I lived overseas for some time, and my philosophy when I came back, there's no way that I'm going to live outside of an area that doesn't is not overwhelmed by our people, our culture. So I can't see being away from my culture, and what I try to do in every place that I am is try to make things better for myself, and more importantly, Kev, we got a lot of kids out in our neighborhoods, and everything that's going on with the murders, the shootings, the killings, the lack of education, knowledge. We got a lot going on in our community, and it doesn't seem to be turning around at all. So it kind of troubles me. And um, when I confront it, people don't evidently like the way I confront the issues because I name names and things of that nature. I mean, tomorrow morning I got a meeting with the captain at District 5 Police Station
Okay,
to talk about things that are going on in the community.
right, okay, okay.
Yeah.
People say he
So
working with them people, and you say you're right. I am.
yeah,
I see you, Dion, in the chat room. He just looking, he just peeping, he just watching. Shout out to Mary Angel. She said he's probably not with the clique they have in Milwaukee's black sellout leaders. She said, I thank God for a true leader who's in the trenches. He is the real deal, and that's why they see him as a threat to their agendas. Shout out to Mary Angel. Vince, I think that's probably an accurate kind of depiction of it. And so you live also in this neighborhood,
yeah.
a historically significant neighborhood in this
Supposedly,
in this you got
yeah.
I always look at that entire area as historically significant because before we were allowed to the suburbs as people of
Mhm.
color in Milwaukee, we were able to move on to Capitol Drive and into that first district area. And I say Capitol because that's my home, but that
Mhm.
whole area was black homeowners, black business owners, people who had worked 30, 40 years and purchased a home and raised their family. Sometimes brothers raised two or three different families, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
um, but for black people, that was a step. And then we went west into the suburbs. You get to that's why I start calling Brown Deer Black Deer. Because that's the first suburb that black people could, go to first. So I say that whole area is historically significant. So this Garden Homes area, and now Garden Homes has a different designation because of, I guess, the socialist mayors who had, doing social experiments
Yeah,
with
and I
poor
think that
people.
was, the when you talk about historical, that's been the focus over the last 30 years in an area of Garden Homes that's historical because of the socialists and trying to keep that historical nature, that value of the community there, which means the homes that were there were designated for 30 years as historic. A Caucasian man got it designated, and for 30 years they didn't do anything to the area. So now they're building it up, supposedly building it up. But this week, I'll put something on Facebook about that that's horrendous, and I'm going to be really hated when you see this one.
We're gonna get into that. It's
Yeah,
Outlaw Radio. You already know we're gonna talk about it tonight. Shout out to Earl Henning. He said, when you've been in this city for 60 years, you know the truth about this city. I agree. I think the longer you stay here, and see, this is when people hear me say who's from the soil, who's from the turf. Because it's one thing to be from somewhere else, right?
Hmm.
And move here. It's one thing to be somebody who was from somewhere else and moved here when you were young. So, for all intents and purposes, you are from Milwaukee, you were raised here. But it's a whole other thing to be born and raised here. I say that's the soil. That's what I say being from the turf. And it's a different thing. It's a different understanding. So you tend to know the ins and outs of how, especially how life is for people of color in our community. You've seen it. You've seen the examples play out time and time again of how we've come up on the short with the short end of the stick. Sean said that was one of the most prominent, affluent black neighborhoods in America. Well, a lot of people don't know in the 1970s, black people in Milwaukee had the highest standard of living in this country, right? And we know what happened to it, but it's all true. It's all true. So that's why I say the significance of that neighborhood, Vince. And you think about it, where it's located at, on the freeway, 10, 15 minutes from the lakefront. You know, right on the main street strip of the city. You can get anywhere you want in the city on Capitol, damn near. It's an important piece of real estate, and that's why it's so important for them now to really get that back, to get the gentrification popping, so they can get that back. Um, so we're gonna talk about the controversy though. We have civil rights bills and human rights bills, disability rights bills, and no one to enforce them. This is Mary Angel, by the way. She said, no one to enforce them as they go on to violate the disadvantaged people. We need to deal with this issue we are facing in our country, especially Wisconsin. We really don't have rights that are protected economically. We are discriminated against by our own government in Madison and in Milwaukee County and City Hall. That
She
is a
nailed
lot
it.
to unpack, Mary Angel.
Hmm.
It's all true though, right? It's all true. Actual factual, as they say. Aaron Brown said, how can I follow this brother? Follow him on Facebook, A Blast. Follow him on Facebook. It's Facebook, not Facebook. Facebook. Vince G Tony, right? Just click on his page. You see it right in the chat. I see you, Paris LaShawn out in Denver. Said peace out laws and Vince from the mile high income and migrant flooded city. Frontline black news. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhance and the Revolutionary Agenda. There we go. There we go. I'm sure Shabaka, I mean, normally he'll call in. I think he may be on the air. I don't know. Ablas said the high standard of living. I never knew that. Great statistic for a person that's from there. Well, we've forgotten that. We've forgotten that. We've forgotten, like, we feel like, I think we kind of wear this jacket of we are the most downtrodden and we always have been. You know, there's been points in time where we was really doing our thing. And this is why the government came in and initiated the agenda that they did with the crack and all of that kind of stuff, because it was like, whoa, shit, we done messed around and let them get employed. It's taking off. So yeah, y'all welcome to the show. Share the show, share the show. I got Vince Tony. I got the ghetto witch doctor. Um, Sean said, let's get to it. We will. We will. This ain't the sip and talk podcast. This is Outlaw Radio. I'll get to it when I get to it. Right? Earl Henning said White Wisconsin with some coons in office. There we go. Some coons in office. Look at them coons. So, Vince, you are actually here. Like I said, you hadn't been on in a while. You are actually here because we saw a mutual article. Now, I don't remember if you shared it with me. I don't know how we both kind of, or did I share it with you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
The article with the video of, did you see that one? That's the one I wanted to talk
That
about.
that is the article, because
Yeah,
so we did a long haul on the hotspot
yeah,
and the 27th and Atkinson area and the problems over there. Now let's talk about this video that's in the People's
yeah.
News Network that you share. Let's talk about it. What's going on here?
The video does not capture Garden Homes. I'm not sure where they took that video at, and I did. If you look on my Facebook page, I put a video. I put a picture out there of some things that have been happening in the neighborhood. Uh, I, I take nothing away from the elders that they portrayed on there. I think that should have been a different segment, either meaning that I'm a veteran myself, and the elder that was on there that was a veteran. I have much respect for her and all veterans for that matter. Respect for Mama Freeman, but I what I disagree with is the young lady is. I'm having a problem with, and I think one of the problems that we're having in our community is that we can never come together and do something that's good for the greater good of all of us. And one thing I'll highlight in the video is that the young lady says that she works for Joe Bova. I mean, the hotspot owner. The problem in our community is that we want to work for everybody else but us. So this young lady has been to our block watch meetings when we had them before the pandemic. She's with the Garden Homes Association. She's with Uniting Garden Homes, and they've come to our meetings to take things back to the hotspot or people in the community that don't necessarily want to be see things to change. So I'm here to say that at the beginning of the year, I mean, somehow or another, we have to come together as a people because we seem to be allowing everyone else to come in our community and take advantage of us, and we don't have and take all of the money out of the community and never put anything back, which leaves us barren for the most part, drug infested, shootings, killings, everything has happened over here, Cap. I think I'll talk about the area. They did paint a very beautiful picture of Garden Homes, but I'm here to say that the picture that they're painted is a terrible picture. My first example is that at the beginning of the year, I go down to the police department to talk to our liaison officers. I've talked to people in the community, the immediate area, and we point out some of the problems that we have, that summer's getting ready to come around, and this is where we need your help, police department. We've identified some houses that's been troubled. We want you to check them out, go in and talk to them, talk to the landlord. And so we go there and we don't really get any coverage. On 20th and 42 on the block of 27th Street, there was a stabbing there, someone, fatalities. The one of the biggest problems that I've had this year, and I haven't had it in the 30 years that I've lived in here. So I've got a lot of single parent family households. One has 3 kids, so guys down the street got 9 kids, lady across the street got 3 kids. And what I decided to do in August is, I started seeing these bags where, they rip them apart, pulling out fentanyl, cocaine, crack, or whatever it is. And we're finding these things in our neighborhood, in yards, and we talk about babies. So if one of these mothers' child pick up this stuff and they happen to decease from it, if you look on my page, you'll see from August until whenever, I got probably 40 or 50 bags of this stuff. And we're painting this beautiful picture, but no one wants to come and solve the problem of what we have in is drug infested. We've had that area, the 4200 block, they're squatting in the house. They're going from that house through some of my neighbor's yard. She's got 3 kids, so I had to put up a no trespassing sign on her house because these drug addicts are going from her house, from the alley through the yards, up by the hot spot and over in that area for drugs and coming back. It's gotten so bad where these people are squatting. They've got cars now. The alley is full of cars coming by there to, I guess, sell them drugs. So the jobs are leaving, the drugs are coming in, and I've never seen this much amount of drug paraphernalia in this community in the 30 years that I've been here. So
okay, so let's just to keep everybody along so that they can go hear what we're saying. This video depicts a neighborhood that's being changed and is on the uptick because of these young ladies and these elderly ladies, and the hotspot is the centerpiece in which they talk about his support for the community. They talk about what he's done to make the community better. So I just want to keep people up to speed. um He said, Sean said, answer the phone. Well, Sean, I have a guest on the show who I'm letting speak. So you'll get your chance to talk to him. like, I don't understand. He says, I'll apologize in advance, bro. When you had the opportunity to assist in the resurrection of Garden Homes, he said, you shook that man's hand. I don't know what he's referring to. This is
I
Sean.
think we revisited that already.
Okay.
The handshake. Well, it was the handshake. One of the handshakes, Kevin, was in 2018 when I went to we're going to the hotspot now. So when I went to the hearing to revoke their liquor license, one thing that was said about me is that I have a personal vendetta against this dude. So to prove that my point is, the pickers that I pick up, right? That I pass out. Well, the hotspot in that area is one of the dirtiest storefronts in the area. I called the guy up and I said, hey, let's meet, because here's something that we can work on together. And what I told him, I gave him 4 or 5 pickers, and I said, "Hey, your storefront is one of the nastiest places in the community. Can you keep it clean for us?" He agreed to that. But the caveat, Kevin, is that anytime your liquor license comes up for renewal, I'm 10 toes down there against it because I disagree with you living in Franklin, coming in here, poisoning my community.
Okay.
So whatever Sean's talking about, that's if he's talking about that handshake, yeah, that was a handshake, and I agree with what I did because the man cleaned up their storefront, one of the cleanest storefronts in the city. That's one thing that we can work on. My point was the Common Council said that I had a personal vendetta against this dude. I don't have a personal vendetta against anybody. It's the fact of the matter is that you, the Common Council, has an opportunity to revoke this dude's liquor license, which has been a huge problem in our community, but you haven't done it.
Okay.
That's
And
and
I want to
that's
say this. And I want to say this. We've heard this all before. We've
exactly.
we've had shows where it became Jerry Springer and motherfuckers was yelling at each other and
We don't
talking
want to go
over
there.
each other. Nothing was accomplished. There was no real solution. Kamar told me a long time ago, kid, we got to be solution-based radio. It ain't all about always complaining. Let's talk about what we gonna do about it. Okay. And I want to say this. I don't want Sean, if you disagree with the man, if you don't, if it's gonna turn into yelling and screaming or whatever, we're just not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. It's because no matter what's happened in the past, because I'm gonna tell you this, there's been fingers pointed at each and every individual over there that I know. Everybody's had a finger of some sort pointed at them. The fact of the matter is, this is a detriment to the community. We need to be focused on moving forward and what's needed in terms of, hey, it's an election year. We need to know what to say. Hey, this is what we demand if you want our votes. To me, this is worth hearing. So let me catch my chat room. A Blast said, I remember this episode. Yeah, I'm saying like it's it this ain't that. That's not what Outlaw Radio is. This ain't Jerry Springer. This is a place for black men to come and be able to chop it up, whether we agree or whether we don't, especially if we're talking about something serious. Now, if we arguing about who's the top 5 MCs, then I expect us to be all yelling over each other and tripping. But if we talking about solutions that need to be had in our community, it shouldn't be no argument. Dion said this is the same sad song. I wish the fucking hotspot would go away so Vince could move on. Well, he lives in the neighborhood, so unless he said it's pertinent because it empowered that bastard. You spoke about litter and now you're speaking about the drugs. That was and is the issue. Okay. Let me see. Said it's kind of late to address it. After the last hearing and meeting, this is where we at with it right now. Okay. Earl Henning said we need to love us black people. You're right. Shira died. She said let's leave with solutions. Dion said once the hotspot closes and there's still drugs in the community, then what? Because its community doesn't even have it's communities that don't have a hotspot and it's still drug infected. Okay, I like that, Dion. Who said that if the hotspot left, drugs would go away in that area? But if you remove something that's a main vein for it, don't you think that'll affect some change in the community? I'm asking out loud. I don't know. That used to be a very, very
or how about eliminate anything that's detrimental to our community? You
there
know
we
what I mean?
go.
If it's dangerous shit happening somewhere in our community, let's eliminate that problem.
Right.
Why is that
Well,
so hard?
let me say this, Kev. I ran into the Chief Norman um, last year downtown, and I asked him, what can we do about the area over the historical area about the drugs that are going on that's going on over there. Well, he says, what do you want me to do about it? I arrest them, they keep coming back. So my point to him is that I spent 4 years in the United States Navy. I spent 9 months on the island out in the middle of the Indian Ocean protecting this country, and you the chief and you can't protect one city block. That's a problem.
But listen, let's not all act like we didn't know and that we're not aware that Chief Norman is in over his head. Like, let's not, it's not like this dude is supreme commander. They have a fire and police commission, right? The city is heavily involved in police policy and procedure. He's not king cop. He's not Harold Breyer. So I think what he's saying is, well, shit. My job is to
I think I
arrest him.
think I think anybody who take that job should know that they finna be under scrutiny.
Absolutely, and under pressure and
So
under
so
fire.
so take that.
But Kev, I mean,
Biggie
when
style.
we talk about trying to turn our community around, I mean, do we continue to have areas in our community that are infested with drugs, and kids live around there and they grow up in this environment and they gravitate to that same thing, selling drugs? I mean, it's a vicious cycle. So when are we going to turn it around? I do, and I believe in my heart that this city can be turned around if we focus and concentrate. And here's one of the problems that we have in my community. So I can't speak on everyone else. So we have, and I've said it before, they finished moving 400, 500 jobs, livable wage weighing jobs, 3 blocks down from me. DRS, Eden Corporation moved out of the community. Astronomics moved out of the community. My question is, and what are all the persons and the mayor doing about going out into the world to see who they can bring back into our community that has livable wage paying jobs? It's not just going to hire 2 people, but we need a company in our community that's going to be hiring 3, 4, 500 people. That's not happening. So if we don't have economic development, our community, I mean, we're going to continue to depend on drugs and alcohol. I think when we flourish, then we gravitate away from those type of elements, if you will.
Okay. Ewok the Great in the chat room. I'm gonna keep this chat room popping. I do have a line. And it's 262-202-5131. Ewok says Scarface top 5. I'm gonna talk about Face Tiny Desk. And listen, we're gonna get to that. I had to get this out first because Vince and I had planned to do this show. We supposed to do it last week, actually, but I was sick and Vince was taking care of his sister. So, but yeah, Scarface, my goodness. If you ain't seen, and what better year, what better time, the 50th anniversary for you to see Scarface's Tiny Desk. It's ridiculous, especially if you a face guy like myself. Shout out to Shira Dodd. She said it's a dry spot over there and it's a hot spot. That's not economically putting back into the community. Well, I was going to say at one point that area had a bunch of businesses, right? And I believe a lot of them were minority owned, or at least some of them. And but who's moving in there buying those businesses up now?
Can I give you an example who's doing it, Kevin?
Sure, why not?
So down at the old Eden building, Tom Ryan purchased that building. DRS, who just moved, they purchased that building. We've got Garden Homes Association in the building. We've got Uniting Garden Homes Association in the building. I wanted to have a meeting a couple of months ago in the building, and they told me that I had to get buy-in from either those 2 organizations or Northwest Side CDC, which is ran by Willie Smith, as one of us. Well, Uniting Garden Homes said, and we're going to have a block watch meetings there. Uniting Garden Homes said, well, we won't sponsor them. Northwest Side CDC, Willie Smith never called me back. And then I called the white guy, the Caucasian guy who bought the building. He says, well, we're going to charge you $55 an hour.
Okay.
To go in the building. So we've had our meetings in that building for years with Eden Corporation. Then we moved to DRS when Eden Corporation moved to Menominee Falls. We moved to DRS. Well, this Tom Ryan guy purchased that building. I know so we worked very closely with DRS. One of the females that worked there used to go out in the community and pass out applications when they were having jobs, and they allowed us to have our meetings there. I contacted her and see if she can contact Mr. Ryan to see. One of my elders say that there's things going on in the community. People are buying houses. Things are going on in her block, and she wants to start getting back together. So I called Carol and say, hey, can you talk to Tom to see if we can get back into the building, right? So my elders in the community want to start getting back together and talk about what's going on in their neighborhoods, and they're concerned and they're scared to come outside. So we got somebody that's buying up 400 jobs left. One white person buys the building, and then he's got the building that houses all the brothers, and the brothers, they want to stick with this white dude. So I'm like, this, and he doesn't want to take care of our elders, right? So I don't know what he has against me, but I know that probably the people that are in the building don't speak very kindly of me. But I
Right.
approached the guy and I said, hey, let's work something out. But $55 an hour for my elders to come in the building where they were allowed to come in here free. What are you trying to do to our community and our people and our elders to keep us apart from each other?
Okay.
I just don't agree with us continually working with these people, whether it be the Palestinians, white people, whatever. We work with them more so than we work with each other to get things accomplished. That uh, Smith, the association, which is ran by a white dude, they can get in the building, but a brother can't get in the building with his
Um,
elders.
Hold on now. Mary Angel says economic development is the main concern. All we have is depression and anxiety, living from crisis to crisis every day and every month. No real opportunity for men except selling drugs or succumbing to drugs, etc. She said, as women and children
Hey, I'm
following
looking
the
at him, bro.
destruction desolate before them,
Okay.
fighting to survive this pollution with no
I know.
solutions, that was stuck in because I have, she said, we're stuck in because I've have black, she said, I have black lose all, just go ahead and handle. I'm sorry, I lost it on that. Government has been unfair to us since slavery. Shout out to Mary Angel. Use maybe it's me. I went to MPS. I couldn't fade that last line. She said, with no solutions that was stuck in. Okay. Sean Moore said, hold up, KB. People couldn't and wouldn't work together to close that place, and we can't skate over this fact. If we do, we're no better than those on the gates. I don't have a dog in the fight. Well, I knew you talking about, you said wouldn't work together to close the place. Well, but you know what? See, that's black people's fault, though.
Thanks,
That's
Kev.
not that's not the Arabs' fault. That's not
Nope.
the white man's fault. The fault, the fact that black people who live in the community who should have a common interest, which is the community, can't get over their own philosophical differences or their own processes and practices. And it's to the point where I'm not gonna work with you. Well, I don't know if we've ever heard of the theory divide and conquer. Because what they know, those niggers aren't gonna stick together. We don't have to worry about them. I'll go over there and I'll give out some money and I'll get some votes. They're never gonna stick together. They know this about us. We do the same thing every time. I watched the old school Beverly Hills Cop the other day and I was reminded of the joke, not gonna fall for a banana in our tailpipe. he said, why you've been hanging around this dude too long. He said, Ewok said, people are like Gator in Spike Lee's movie. They like getting high. I keep saying this and nobody's listened to me yet. The people who are over there could shut that store down faster than any and everybody.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is that they don't stop spending there. You could say, oh, it's the closest thing. Oh, he gives them credit. Oh, he sells them single cigarette. They will not stop spending. The people from the neighborhood. This is what this video showed. The people in the neighborhood want the hot spot open.
Yep.
The people have spoken. Now you have people like yourself, Vince, and Sean, who say no, this should be eliminated. And plenty of people who say this should be eliminated. And as a matter of fact, this is not unique to Garden Homes because almost in every troubled neighborhood, at the center of it is an Arab-owned gas station, liquor store, or corner store that is wrought with problems.
And they're making millions of dollars a year and taking it out of our community, not putting one dime back into it. And we accept that.
Sean said Cup is up in that building too. His organization, Cup.
Yeah.
Okay. Earl said you couldn't have said it any better, my brother. Real life is having some money in your pockets. Got to get some bread, man.
Yeah, I mean, jobs
You can't do nothing if you're broke.
Yeah,
man.
We're looking at carjackings, robbings, and killings. I'm working with Kia boys and everybody else in this community that they're packing. So, what do we do to start turning this young generation around when all that they can see is us? We're there an example of who they're going to be. They can't see the little bitty me because there's 10 or 15 drug dealers around there and they gravitate to that fast money. And then most of them end up in prison or jail. Convicted felons can't get jobs. and we don't have jobs in the community for the people that want to work mostly.
Right. Well, you go to Walmart, but even they closing. Aaron Brown said division is a powerful weapon. The people that's in place ignore things and leave it to community leaders, participants, knowing it will be headbutting. Well, they know what the see. We've set a precedent in our community. I tell people all the time, one of the reasons I backed up off of any grassroots organizing and this kind of thing and never wanted to run for a political office is because I've seen these people literally go into a meeting and waste 2-3 hours just getting up, giving robust speeches and quotes and wearing dashikis and beads and beanies and talking this language, this enlightened language, and arguing with the next man because he don't want to wear a dashiki and some beads. And then he's mad because he got on a suit and this dude got on some sandals. These are examples of the level of pettiness that I've seen these leaders go in and refuse to work together. Solidarity is so key, man. This is why Latinos, Hmongs, the
All
rest
of
of
them.
these minorities, this is why they are thriving. I was driving past Hoppa today, Hmong American Peace Academy. It looked like a building that you would see downtown. It looked like a suburban campus. They took
Kevin,
the
I
old
went
Morris
to
Middle School and put the whoop on it. And then look, it's their school where they teach their children about their culture and their history. They serve them their foods. They don't have a football field. They got a soccer field, brand new with turf.
Hey Kevin, I went last year. I went to the meeting with Howard Fuller to talk about MPS, and they also and what they were going to be doing. They also had the Hmongs there, right? And what the Hmongs were talking about, which they, what we don't understand in our community, how they've torn them apart. So we're talking about busing and building schools anywhere. What the Hmongs are doing and what they're building community-based schools. They've got their high school, their grade school, and their middle school all in one area because
It's all in the same building.
it's all about community, Kev. We don't have that anymore. They've taken that away from us. I mean, you got to get on a bus. You got to go here. I walked to school, to my grade school. I walked to my junior high school, and I walked to my high school. And we had a camaraderie in these neighborhoods. They've broken all of us out because they sending us all different kind of ways. And we wonder why.
Well, we played into that too because we always think white ice is colder.
Exactly.
So black people was ready to put their key. I was in the 220 program. My mother sent me all the way to the far south side on 65th and Warnemont to go to middle school because we thought we send them way out. There's going to be better schools.
All we need
Why
is
do you
good
trust
teachers.
your oppressor for your religion as well as educating your children? Right? And when you go out there for those black kids, it's a different fight. It's a different fight, and you can't understand why you guys a good school. Why you out there clowning? He like, dude, I got to get the nigga treatment every day. And it ain't nothing I could do about it. So we kind of gave our kids away. They had to do you as much as white people hated us. Don't you believe that at a certain point, if we just stop saying we want our kids to go to school with y'all and start saying, no, we want to keep our kids in our own schools. We just want them to be better. We want them to be funded better. We want them to be staffed better. We ain't got no desire to send our kids to heaven knows where.
And we want to know about our history, not their history.
Well, we wouldn't be talking about no critical race theory and 1619 and all that right now because we would have. I read an article about a group of very, actually it was one professor from North Division, one teacher from North Division who came up with this African-American curriculum in the 70s that was so dynamic in teaching black kids about themselves and about their history. I mean, he developed a whole curriculum. He was eventually blackballed and put out of MPS.
Yeah.
I'll find his name.
I dropped out of North Division.
Okay.
And here's the reason why. I was very decent at math, right? I mean, I can get my algebra and I can get it done. So when I got ready to take the ACT or whatever the fuck they call that test, I went there to take it. This was my first time being in a room with that many Caucasians, right? Kev, I open up this test and I see a math problem in there that I've never seen in my entire life. At that moment, I made up my mind that I've been in this institution for 12 years of my life that didn't give me the knowledge and information that I needed to compete against them in the world. I dropped out with 4 months left to go and join the Navy. I said, fuck it.
Right. I mean, you got to make moves. Ewok says Vince got to realize a lot of people get high as fuck.
I get high as fuck too.
Get high. But hold on, listen. I think that's what I'm saying. I keep hearing us Kamar, you tell me if I'm off key with this. I keep hearing people complain about this store, and I keep hearing people complain about the drugs and the crime, but I don't hear us getting on us for going to the store or being involved in the crime. Like we all mad at the store and we all
What
saying all this needs to be removed. City, why won't you help us? And they looking at us like, why don't y'all stop spending y'all motherfucking money there? Why don't y'all stop
Well,
making it?
that's the truth. But you know what I mean. I think honestly, for it to get to that point, you know, we gotta have people out here now talking about, look, the store's fucked up. The store's fucked up. So maybe, hopefully, eventually, everybody will get fed up and be like, look, y'all, you know what? The store is a problem in our neighborhood. Let's stop going to this motherfucker. But then the only problem with that is everybody else. Like you got the people that's on drugs, the people that drink alcohol, they still going, they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So again, you know, we still got to be upset with us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But not like okay, right. So we should be mad at us because our behaviors perpetuate a lot of this stuff. And I'm not
We
listen,
allowing it to happen.
I'm not
We
judging
paying.
anybody. I'm not
Hey, how
judging
about this?
anybody.
How about this? We paying for all this mess to stay in the community.
Yeah, but our mentality.
Literally.
I don't hear enough people talking about our mentality.
Exactly.
I go places and I watch people. I know people think I never leave my house. That's the biggest misconception in the world. I go anywhere I want to. And everywhere I go, I watch people. I watch my people in particular. And I see some very disturbing behaviors. It's not a white man, it's not an Arab, it's not a Hmong, it's not a Latino. It's
It's
a group
us.
of my people doing the absolute most. And I'm like, see, that's the kind of shit that keeps us from really advancing because we embrace a lot of us embrace this shit. Like this is turned up. This is lit. Nigga, this the hood. Let me catch my chat room. Sean Moore said, you want me to call? He said, do you want me to call? I guess he's asking, do you want him to call a guy for you?
Who want me to calm down or what? What's
No,
that?
I think he said, do you want him to call the guy for you who's over the
What guy?
building? The dude who's over the building where he was trying to have a meeting at.
Well, I've called him. I left messages for. I mean, so why would he want to talk to one black man and not another black man? So here we are, you know, and he wants to charge me. Well, you know, it's like I'm finding a way around white people and all that bullshit. You know, you can go up there and kowtow to this white man. I'm not doing it.
He said, bring him in your house.
He's welcome to my house. We can
John is
talk.
a
I don't mind
rebel
talking to
rouser.
anybody.
He's a rebel rouser.
Yeah.
And my son calls that trolling. Like he be like, Dad, why you trolling? Shira Da said, yes, they used to all be majority minority owners. Common Council is literally redlining. She said, redlining is a discriminatory practice in which services are withheld from potential customers who reside in neighborhoods classified as hazardous to investment. These neighborhoods have significant numbers of racial and ethnic minorities and low income residents. He said, I'm not saying it's nobody else's fault. That's Sean Moore. I don't think I said you did. And really, I'm not talking to anybody in particular. I'm talking to the people in the community because I don't think you can blame one person for anything. Like this all your fault, unless he just shipping metric tons of dope through the neighborhood. She said, let me check. The same argument with what solution? We'll get to the solution. Or what we think the solution should be. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's a podcast. We ain't gonna solve this shit tonight. But we'll start talking about some things that we need to be implemented. Earl Henning said the sad part of Michael Jackson
I think
should
we
have been
did that
singing,
though, Kev. When
we
we
really don't care about us. He said, what you say, Kumar?
I think we did that already when we said, you know, we got to look at ourselves, man, spending money at these places. That
First
is
step,
the solution.
I mean,
economic warfare.
look
You
at
know
the
what I
guy.
mean?
I mean,
Everybody talk about
Sherman
this
Grocery,
war. Everybody
Grocery Store. I patronize there. I don't go to the hot spot. I go over there and spend my money with Mo.
Yeah.
And they got Kamar's product in there too.
Yeah.
I spend my
Yeah.
money with Mo, and I seen the product in there.
And if y'all got Quest out there, you can go buy Vitality from Sherman Park Grocery with your Quest.
Your Quest. Mama
Yeah.
Jenkins in the building. She said, "Good evening, my outlaw family. Let's make it do what it do." The hot spot is going to be there. It's a community spot that feeds people. Most of the leaders are not going to close a store that is infected,
Amar,
a sore that's infected.
Yeah. There you go. It's the man
Uh,
right there.
he
That's the
said,
man with the
"Watch the
plan,
podcast
man.
tomorrow night. I have two solutions on the show. I bet you will, Sean. I bet you
I
will
have a
have.
solution.
You'll have more than two." Um, Mama Jenkins said, "KB, that's why I'm not on the ground anymore because a lot of because of people." So she said that's why she doesn't do her activism anymore. Earl said they have $15 million to tear down Northridge. Let's see them do some demolition training for that. Well, my father was a scrap iron man, so who's gonna haul that recyclable material off? Because that's what he used to do. He used to get paid. Um, said, "What's the plan?" We'll get to it. When you'll hear it when we get to it. Like you get to it. We hiding it from you, Sean. We hiding it from you. Mama Jenkins
Hey,
said,
I think
"Vince,
the
they
plan
didn't."
is to try to get motherfuckers to quit spending money over there. Other than that, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing shaking, man. Apparently, you know what I mean, the city ain't finna help nobody shut that place down.
No. Mama Jenkins said, "Vince, they didn't take shit. We let them have that power." He said they establishing and building an institution for their people. I agree. We talking about Hmongs and Asians. Brother Mark Ross, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? He said, "What's good? What's good?" Don't Mark Ross has a podcast too, y'all. I don't know the name. Mark, put the name of your podcast in the chat room so people can check you out. Um, Earl Henny said that's one form of separation. Aaron Brown said, when you speak about education for children in the present, in my opinion, most of the kids are poisoned. They are poisoned through the food and water. Wow, this ain't getting better.
Well,
It's not
that's I
getting
mean
much.
the lead in the water,
The lead in the water. We know that that's an effect in Milwaukee, right?
big time.
Uh, he said the parents are not providing basic diets, and the places that they leave their kids at, the food is poison. When I say poison, I mean poison. Um, he said, "Do you want the space or not?" That's something y'all can talk about off the air. I'm not doing. I mean, y'all, yeah, you know. Said they, their children are failing, but nobody knows why, or blame the parents. Those parts contribute to the kids, but the kids are being poisoned enough to the point where there's much commotion. Nobody's questioning that. Well, I don't. Once again, we start talking about poison, right? And so Kamar is one of these brothers who's very, very informed about what you should be putting in your body versus what you shouldn't. I'm not as versed as he is, but I know with young children, you can't allow them to eat a mouthful of candy every day. You can't allow them to be sustained on chips and flaming hots. You can't let them drink Coke and Pepsi every day. They have to have a diet. You have to sustain them. You have to say, no, you're gonna eat some vegetables today. Or you're gonna get some whatever you deem as protein today. Kids need to understand the basic building blocks of how your body, develops. So yeah, our kids are poisoned because we got parents who are latchkey parents because they're working two jobs and that food is in the refrigerator and them kids can throw that in the microwave and eat it or go and take it out the can and cook it and they feed themselves. So these parents, there is working poor in Milwaukee.
Man, look, as soon as you give your kid that bowl of cereal, you poison it.
Yep.
That sugar.
Yep.
Yeah, as soon as you start feeding them that cereal, you poison them. You
Well,
know what I
Kevin,
mean? Like
yeah,
people, I think we pick and choose the poisons that we take.
We do.
Kevin, I just came back, from Gurney with my sister. I was down there last month for her breast cancer surgery, and I was down there Friday for her first chemo. And I'm in her house, and I'm like, she's got her grandkids living with her. I'm going through her cupboards. I'm taking shit out and I'm showing her this is sugar. This is sugar. You're poisoning your body with this. And
Right.
you got cancer. You can't continue to eat all of this stuff because you got all of this chemicals in your body now. And sugar's the worst thing for you. So I'm over there throwing out the Morton salt, giving her some Himalayan salt, and changing the whole diet of the whole family over there. And it takes time because every time you look around, they're grabbing something sweet or they don't want to eat right. So I'm over there, trying to change a habit. And we want to talk about the hotspot. We got to go down there and look what they're poisoning our community with. It's not healthy. The cigarettes, the alcohol, the bad food,
Everything
the
in there.
bologna. No, it's holistic. You
Everything
got to
in
look
there
at.
is poison.
Pardon me.
I said everything in there is poison.
And people won't look at that. And that's when I say he's poison. That's what I told the common council. This dude is poisoning our community. And I don't care if he sells food, but let's take one poison away. Let's take the alcohol away, because we know what the alcoholism has done to our community.
There's so many people over there who will fight you about that, though. You trying to close the liquor store? Is you
Well, you know,
crazy?
I got pastors fighting me about that, boss.
You trying to close the liquor store where
I
I
get it.
come
Hey,
here
but I'm
every day and
talking
get my drink?
Hey,
Hey, Kevin.
when I say everything in there is poison, I'm talking about the macaroni and cheese,
All of it.
the cereal, you know what I mean? The spaghetti noodles, and you know what I mean, all that bullshit that we go in there and we buy like we at the grocery store. Ain't nothing
Yeah.
in there good for us. You know, we talk about what's healthy. Fruit and vegetables. How many fruit and vegetables is in there?
They have some.
That's
I'm asking.
that's
I don't
not
know.
rotten.
You know what I mean? It ain't much. You know what I'm saying?
They have
It's
some.
not, and that I would challenge you to look at their statements and see how much food they sell comparison to cigarettes and alcohol.
Right.
He said, Kyle, what? I'm trying to assist you and you want to be disrespectful. Man, you two brothers, y'all.
What is he talking about?
Because you said you're not kowtowing to the white dude to be in the building. They said lay in the water. lay it in the water. You're right. And anything hot flaming. Mark Ross, shout out to Mark Ross. He said the name of his podcast is the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast. Said he's on YouTube as well. And he have a show tomorrow. I think that's what he mean, even though he put tomato. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. So the Speak Your Truth podcast. Shout out to Mark Ross. Mark Ross been checking us out for a minute. Shout out to him. I'm gonna have to check your show out. Sean said I ain't helping with shit. He can hold it in the parking lot for all I care and wonder why people shun you.
Well, my elders don't shun me.
Okay.
The children that I mentor don't shun me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's
all
good.
I care about. I care about the elders, but I'm not going to. When I had two companies in our community that were multi-million-dollar companies that moved out of the community, that allowed our elders to go in those buildings without any problem or paying or anything, and I got one white man where everybody's aligned with. So we all want these. The hot spots paying people. He's paying people. So let's just be real about it. It's slavery.
You're right, Aaron. Sugar is, man, we learn more and more every day about, and see, the thing about sugar and salt both is that you can cure stuff with both of them. It's like a preservative. And it's in stuff whether you know it or not, because there's a lot of foods that come in solution that you don't even know is salt based, right? To keep it so it can be preserved. And so we get this stuff. We say, I didn't put no salt on it. But you know, depending on how you got it, it may have come prepackaged.
All them canned goods.
Yeah, all of that. A lot of processed food. That's why they call it processed. I'm fat and I know that. He said, stop your kids from eating Flaming Hots. He said, only soul in the hood. It's only flaming souls in the hood. I tell you, I'm very, very guilty. My son stopped eating it. Finally got him to stop eating the Flaming Hots. He doesn't drink soda or whatever. So my wife has ensured some pretty good eating habits. Y'all know what I do that's foul, that's very low vibrational? I eat Flaming Hot pork skins.
Oh, Kev.
I tear them motherfuckers up. I grew up eating them. My mother used to eat them, man. And so she would always share them with me. It was when especially hot ones.
Hey, Kev, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see a pork skin, I want to bite. Shit.
My mother used to make cracklings. She used to make pork cracklings, man, out of the pig back. And shit used to be good. I used to feel like, man. But I don't eat them every day, but I will eat them. I'm just saying I'm keeping it a buck just in case you see me somewhere in the store one day. But like, yeah, man, be listening to Outlaw Radio. Is you buying a bag of pork skins? Yes, I am. Baconlets. That's what they call. Ewok said Whole Foods got garbage food too. It's a trick for more money. I've never been in a Whole Foods.
Shit, really. I can't afford to go in the Whole Food.
Well, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? Like I say, when you start talking about pasta and shit like that, that's garbage.
Yeah. Sugar in your
stuff.
stuff.
You know, it tripped me out, man. When people who really eat real shitty, you know what I'm saying? Eat pig feet and all that type shit. They talk shit about places that's supposed to be healthy. That's crazy, ain't it?
Well, we don't. Does I don't know if Ernest eats pig feet though, Kamar.
I ain't even necessarily talking about him. I'm just talking about how this conversation be going. You know what I mean? Like, it's usually people who eat like that who talk shit about vegans, and I hardly ever see vegans talking shit about anything else.
I see vegans take shots.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. But I'm just saying, in my world, I don't really see that. I see everybody else taking their shots at healthy stuff. And like, why? Like, why are you taking shots at healthy shit or anything that's supposed to be healthy if you ain't doing everything all the way right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't come down on nobody on what they eat. I just tell them what's good for you and what ain't, or what I feel. I don't tell you you fucked up for this or you shouldn't do. You know what I mean? It's just foul, man.
Yeah.
Listen.
If it ain't fruit and vegetables, the shit ain't good for you. Now, everybody.
I make fun of everybody, so it don't matter what you eat. And I eat some of the worst shit, and I don't care. I just in a world where you could be anything, be the type of person that insults everybody. That's kind of like my. I know it's wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
I mean, you got some people that's focused on that feel like they want to do better with their health. You got some people that feel like they want to do better with their financials. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see no broke motherfucker talking shit about somebody who trying to get some money, but you see unhealthy people talking shit about people trying to get healthy.
Oh, you see some broke motherfuckers talking shit about people who trying to get money. That hate be real.
Shit, but I'm talking about somebody really getting money. Real.
He said, "Don't close the liquor store." No, Aaron Brown said, "No, don't close the liquor store. That's a major source of sugar."
Straight up.
The name of his show is the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast, Paris. And Sean Moore has Sip and Talk. Those are both on tomorrow. Sean Moore has Sip and Talk with the game members. Earl said 2 bananas and an apple, and it's somebody's lunch. MC Tone in the house. We're about to get some pimping. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. He said to Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast. Okay, he got some shows up already. I'm gonna check you out after the show. When I usually go YouTube diving after the show. So I'll check you out there. He said, well, I got my hand out. Where's my coins? He said, flaming hot pork skins. Yeah, real talk, man. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm transparent. Like because I told y'all on the show, I still eat Glorious Malone hoghead cheese. The difference is I don't eat it every day. I might get that once every 3 months. And I don't feel like that's going to kill me. And it's really a nostalgic thing for me because, once again, I grew up in a house where my father actually made hoghead cheese from the real head of the pig. I'm trying to say. I mean,
I'd have been scared of that, dog.
That's some good fresh shit.
Man,
I'd have been scared of that shit back then.
Nah, man.
I mean, I know. I'm talking about me.
You'd have got used to it if you lived in our house because you'd have grew up seeing cows get butchered.
I'd have seen them grind that pig head up. That would have fucked me up, dog.
Well, you cook the meat off the bone and take the bone out, and then you take everything else and put it through the grinder, pack it in a bowl, and it turns into it gets in gelatinous form. And you got hoghead cheese, brother.
God damn.
Black cheese.
Good stuff.
Man, delicious, man. My family be lined up at the door like, Uncle Sonny made some hoghead cheese. Let me get a brick. Right? We was flipping bricks. Man, my father used to hunt animals and he would gut them in the garage. I grew up seeing all this. He put nail a raccoon up in the garage and cut him open, take his guts out, take the fur off. We sell the hides. So some of my eating habits is based on that, that down south field nigga shit. MC Tone said, but my wife has cleaned all that up, so I don't get that stuff now. I get it. When I do have a little thin slice, my wife, you ain't supposed to have that. So I'll sneak and eat it with some crackers and then I'll be done. I can't get the brick like with my pops when I was little. He said, MC Tone never used salt. Ain't no salt in the game. There you go. I told you to get some pimping. Whole Foods sell the food we ate 30 years ago. I've never been in Whole Foods. I've never been in there. What's in there?
Well,
they got a lot of fresh foods.
Yeah.
Fresh vegetables.
They say everything's supposed to be organic.
Yep.
Okay.
I have to admit that there's a difference between I mean, all of them. I don't know if they use chemicals, but there's a huge difference between organic and a lot of the stuff that they sell in the other stores. A huge, major difference,
I
taste
think,
wise and everything else.
yeah,
Huh.
I think the quality of their produce do taste better than pick and save.
Yeah, I mean, I can pick up a grape and I have to wash it about, if I get it out of a regular store, I got to wash it 10 times. If I pick up a grape out of that's organic out of one of the other stores, I don't have to wash it that many times because it's not as dirty and the chemical taste is gone in a relatively short period of time.
I might have to try to do a comparison. I've never, like I
Yeah,
said,
it's
I've
a
never
big,
been in there.
it's huge. I mean, just even the Outpost and Trader Joe's is very inexpensive,
I've never been in there either. So
very inexpensive.
Ernest Walker said, I was just saying Whole Foods is a ripoff. I don't care what nobody eat but me. Um, who is this? He said, okay. Sean said, I'm about to bounce. Everybody tune into the show tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. on YouTube, or join them live. They'll be at Lounge 340. Tuesday for the Cupcast, and Thursdays at 7 for the Talk and Sip. Thursdays. Okay, so it's Cupcast tomorrow night and then Talk and Sip. Shira said school board meeting tomorrow at 5:30. Now show up.
I'll be
If you're a
there.
parent, yeah, I would, if you have concerns, there's also there's also article in the People's News Network about Madison High School, which is a very low performing school. You read the article, it's very troubling. MPS got some issues, man.
That's big. That's one
MPS,
of my problems too, Kev.
right? Well, no, they have. Yeah, that's what I said. They have issues. There's some serious things going on in these schools. I'm
Yep.
not blaming MPS solely for it, but the fact that the problem is, see, when I see a problem, I just see a problem. I
Yeah.
don't get caught up on who to blame. I get caught up on what the cause of it is.
Yeah. And
And I
we're
guess
all
that's
to
what,
blame.
right. Well, I think it's enough to go around.
It
He said
is.
you'll make your own crackers too. I don't know how to make crackers, but once again, I ain't gonna lie. My mama used to make crackers. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. She would make crackers, man. She would bake them in the oven, bro. Mom's a survivor, man. She's MacGyver in the kitchen. We were never hungry. We got 2 cans of beans, 1 can of cabbage, some corn, and some bologna. We have lasagna. How the fuck you make lasagna out of that? Mom's was a genius, man. Sean Moore said tomorrow the guests are the comeback king Ed Hennings. There you go. And Mr. Journey to a Better Health, Lorenzo Williams. There you go. Ed Hennings doing big things out here. He's doing big things out here. And he has a great story. Shira Da said the solution come to the school board administration tomorrow if y'all care about y'all community. This is the money where it's at for our black and brown communities. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Ed Hennings in the chat room himself. I just talked about his story and how inspirational it is. He says, Sean Moore, let's go. Y'all make sure y'all tune in. Sean, you make sure you put it in the People's News Network. Put it in the People's News Network so people can see it. Ernest Walker said, bullshit. Whole Foods been busted for garbage fruit. That's GMO. Okay. She said, if y'all won't change, stop talking. Y'all won't change and stop talking. I can't stop talking. I just can't. I've tried. I can't. I'm an information slanger, man. Word mob. I have to get it out. Or else I'll be sitting somewhere talking to myself. And then y'all will all say he crazy. It's been done before. Paris said, I get my fruits and vegetables from Sprouts. And when it's not growing season, do y'all have Sprouts out there? I don't use them. Kamar, is that how you, do you know about this Sprouts?
No, Sprouts. I put them in salads and stuff like that.
Okay. She said, following the damn money. And blacks don't have any power. The money is our children. Well, if they got a $1 billion budget, almost $2 billion. We had a great episode with Mrs. Beverly Williams, a couple weeks ago. And she talked about MPS and the ins and outs. So we talked about this budget she's exposed, and it's out there now about the brother that it looks like he defrauded MPS out of a couple $1 million over some years. The Republican guy, I forget his name.
Yeah.
Earl, she said Ed Henning come to Okay, let me go up. Let me catch it. Let
Yeah,
me catch
okay.
it.
We have to also look at, MPS and their budget and how many social service organizations have over the years been in there to that were supposed to be solution based, and there hasn't been no solutions for the school yet. But yet and still, people get paid. We are so willing to accept money versus being able to be 10 toes down for our community. We just want a dollar here and there. So people in my community, which we start off to talk about, the video, you hear the young lady saying that she works for this dude, he's paying her. So you've heard other people say that this dude is paying people in our community. The dude at the building down there is paying people to shut up. If you say something, you got to get out of my building. So being held captive by people who don't give a shit about our community, our kids, and nothing else.
Okay, okay. You're preaching to the choir. I'm already very aware of it. Paris LaShawn says they sell healthy lunches and dinner meals as well. They are expensive though. I think he's talking about Whole Foods. She said Ed Henning come to the school board meeting. Um, Earl Henning, I think you mean. He said people need to know the truth. This is Paris. He says Sprouts is a grocery store similar to Whole Foods. I think it's less expensive than Whole Foods. So okay. Oh, it's a store in Denver. He's talking about. She said the money for the community is in MPS. Well, yeah. I mean, they take a piece of the tax levy. They've taken a piece of the tax levy. Y'all keep up too. Y'all keep up too with this story of justice for Denari Pier. We had the family on a while ago. And it was about this low bail that criminals often get at young men who've been or offenders who've been arrested and released and have several crimes pending and all this, and they still get these low bails. They lost their son as a result of a young man who, for all intents and purposes, should have been locked up. Y'all check the case out, man, and shoot some support towards that mother and that father. I'm Facebook friends with them. They've been on the show. Very, very, very emotional, very touching story. Y'all get them support. Justice for Denari. Ewok the Great, what it do, man?
What's going on, man?
What's happening with you? What's good on what's good on a Monday night?
Hey, I wanted to tell Vince, hey, man, the biggest issue is corruption. See, and if you can't, which is something that ain't gonna never change, is the corruption. If you can't stop the corruption, then you can't change nothing, man. You know, you can't fix something that's corrupt. If it's corrupt, it's corrupted. And everything on earth right now seems like it's corrupted. It's just plain old corrupted everywhere. Everything you do is people want the money. They don't give a damn how they get it. I mean, I can go to a different conversation with this, but I won't. But everybody wants some money. Everybody want to sue Puffy, and now they want to go get Jay-Z. I heard some shit about Mary J. Blige. It's just everybody is so greedy on earth these days, man. That is pitiful. And even though you got a good heart, Vince, I know, you know what I'm saying, you got a good heart. I could tell you a good brother, man, but that fight right there is I'm glad you ain't giving up. But Charlie, that's a hard fight right there to win, bro.
Yeah,
That corruption.
I think
And
my
don't let no
problem is
come out.
is that one of my problems is that every other culture in this world has camaraderie but ours. We can't come together to do the right thing for our kids, for our elders, for our communities, for nothing. We want everybody's chasing the dime. I mentor. Um, I mean, I've been mentoring forever. I have a kid with me just about as much as I possibly can, and I check on my elders. I mean, we as men have a responsibility to me, especially of our culture, to take care of our children, our teenagers, our mothers, our women, and our elders. I mean, the men have a responsibility. And when I have men shooting shots at me, and I know the corruption, I'll give you something corrupt in a few days that's terrible that's happening in our community in Garden Homes at the historical district. I follow everything in this district, and I know what's going on. If we have men in our community that are stepping up to the plate and coming together to make a difference and call out this corruption, it would change. But you're right, we can't galvanize like other communities and stick to our business and what make things work for us. They know what works for them, and most of them, what works for them is coming in our community, taking all of our money out and not putting none of them back in. and with our money, we go take it to them.
So I want to put a bow. I want to put a bow on the because we had already done this. We had said, look, we ain't talking about hotspot no more. Because I think we on this show, I think we've discussed the hotspot ins and outs more than any other platform. I don't think anybody's had more conversations about the hotspot. The ins and outs, the ups, the downs. I don't think anybody's done that more than us. So Vince, I wanna close this off with you by saying, as far as solutions go, what would you propose as a plan to help restore this community?
Here's one. I don't know. Can you hear this, Kevin? I'm gonna give you one plan right here. It's on my phone. Can you hear it?
I move for a 15-day suspension of the Class A malt, Class A liquor license based on the preponderance of evidence and the police report and resident testimony that demonstrates the operation results in a threat to health, safety, or welfare of the public.
Hold your horses. Here's the solution right here.
Are there any objections to that motion?
Madam Chair,
Alderman Bukowski.
I will object. And I will object because I don't think it's severe enough. And I don't think, I get so disappointed in people that are supposed to be leaders in this community and know the problems that we continue to have and yet find ways to defend them. Find ways. It's not right. It's just not right. And I'll tell you something else. I'm disappointed in these officers that came here today. Honestly, I thought it was pathetic. You know, we're supposed to be people that lead. Okay? We're supposed to be the ones that have the courage to say what needs to be said. And I am saying it. It's not okay. I would never tolerate this business in my district. I'll tell you that. No way. First year in front of me, goodbye. So, I'm just one vote. I will object. I don't think it's severe enough. And the committee and the council will do with it as they choose. Thank you.
That's the solution right there.
That's one of the solutions.
That's one of the solutions. Aldermen in our community continue to be in bed with this dude, from Pratt, Hamilton, and now Pratt's daughter. They're all in bed with this dude. The man said he's an alderperson, would not last one day in his community. He'd get rid of him. The Common Council has the authority to do that. The black of our culture keeps saying yes to this dude when they know it. We had police officers, Kevin, white police officers, that this dude asked. He asked them, "Would you live in that community?" This boy lives in Cameroon or something. The white boy said, "Yes, I would live in that community." He's telling a damn lie.
But hold on, Vince. But hold on. Let me ask you a question. I know you don't believe, and I know that alderman, it sounded good what he said, but the removal of the hotspot is not going to get rid of the problems that are there, because there's other areas around there that are just as dysfunctional as a hotspot. This is just who gets all of the press. So to remove the hotspot is not going to take away 40 years of crack addiction and the crack epidemic. I think it could be a keg in a machine, but I don't think that that's a solution to say, shut the hotspot down, we're all good. And I don't know if that's what you're saying, but
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to solve any problem, you have to start somewhere.
Okay.
And if that's a cancer, it's a cancer. I'll put it this way, Kevin. In 2017, they voted to close it down for 6 months. I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. It was the most beautiful community that you would ever want to see. You didn't see all of these people riding around at that store on that corner, gambling, shooting dice, shooting guns. It was quiet, Kevin. So it's a start we have to start somewhere to solve these problems one at a time. That's one at a time. We can't do this thing because we just got 400, 500 jobs that just left from down the street, Kevin. So that created another problem that people don't have jobs. We have 3 companies in the last 10 years that hired more than 40 to 50 people. So I'm not saying that's the one solution. It's a start to solving the problem. The other solution is that our common council get off their asses and go out through the country and see what kind of jobs and manufacturing that they can bring back to the city.
But what
And
you
we
now
have
let
to
me
deal
ask
with
you
the
this
school.
question though. Let me ask you this question though. Because of what has happened, because of the effects of this drug culture, to talk about it, this culture of dysfunction that exists over there. If a Fortune 500 company was to move into that neighborhood right now, how many people would they employ at that company, and how many of those people would be qualified to work there? Like, because listen, we know with poverty and drugs and dysfunction, literacy tends to be pretty low. Now, I'm not speaking to the older people who went to Alice Chalmers and went to Falk and were able to get these jobs. I'm talking about now having the technical knowledge to be able to walk into a modern manufacturing facility. How many of those young people are even going to go and apply?
Well, they're not, Kevin. So now you created you brought up another problem. The problem is that we don't have the education to hold those jobs. So here's where we're going, Kevin. Believe it or not, and I put it on Facebook. Walmart is a test pilot for IA, artificial intelligence. They're not going to need people in a minute. So we do need to start going to school. We need to know plumbing. We need to know electrical work. We need to be in the trades, because a lot of this shit and these brick and mortars that we see right now, when you go in Walmart and you see 10 people on their phone, in a minute you're going to see 10 robots that's going to be doing their job, because they don't need that anymore. So we have to start looking at we went from agriculture to industry to technology. Now we're getting ready to go to IA. And if we're not ready, we're going to get buried again. We have to start looking at the trades and become master masons, master electricians. We just and the others of us who go to college and get jobs, that's fine too. But the jobs that are never going to go away are the trades. So we have to start teaching our kids, get them back in school at a young age. We got lost generations out here. We're going to have to say, fuck them. We're going to have to look at our kids, and we're going to have to start taking them through these institutions to get what they need to be able to function in the world as it's changing right before our eyes into artificial intelligence.
So okay, so once again, focusing on this community, you have a group, you have a population of about, and I would say 20 to 35 over there, and they're minorities. Okay, people who live in it, whether they're renting or owning, they live in this community. What is, I don't expect you to know this, but I'd have to say, what is the unemployment rate over there? And then I would have to cross check that by the literacy rate and the rate of how many people have high school diplomas, how many people have some sort of technical training, some sort of a certification. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. Solution based in the community, being really specific, because let's be honest, Eaton and those aerospace corporations who were there, they weren't employing a lot of people of our people for the higher end jobs. Now there was some security guard, janitorial, but they weren't in those upper floors in those offices.
They may not have been, because I went back when I went to Robert Fulton. It's in our school system. They've taken it out of our school system. I went to Robert Fulton. I learned how to read a ruler. I learned wood shop. When I went to North Division in the afternoon, I went to MATC. I took a machine shop. I learned how to use a micrometer. When I dropped out of high school, I went to lived in another country. I came back here. I went back to school and got a GED. I went and then I started working for a manufacturing company. I went to that school, MATC, back there, and I started taking technical classes. When I worked my way up to the office, I went back and got a bachelor's degree to support that, because I'm of this color. I got to have paper in order to get those jobs, or I have to have skills. And we know what kind of country we live in. This is a corporation, and we have to have certain skills, especially a brother with this colored skin has to have some means of education to navigate their system. And we have to start bringing our kids up and helping these mothers raise their babies, especially their boys, to gravitate to these things. And when it's all starts at home. We blaming everybody else, but our homes are so broken, Kevin. I got out of the corporate America. I worked for Child Protective Services for 8 years. I've seen it all. I've been in these houses where these mothers are getting banked getting paid to make their kids be dumb so they can get $600 a month and put their kids on medication. We got a lot of problems in this community that's exacerbated by their systems. We bought into all of their systems in this city, all of them. And they're getting paid. They're the ones that are. So if you want to make a comparative analysis, we have to look at who's the judges at children's court, who's the DA, who's the assistant district attorney. They're not us. They're some of us, but overwhelmingly, there are Caucasian people that are doing these jobs. So in comparison, the same thing in corporate America, but they're just in our community taking our kids and making us even more dysfunctional and giving us their ADD and ADHD drugs that fucks up our brain. Then you go down to the store and you get some liquor. I'm not talking about getting rid of marijuana. I'm talking about that crack. We can do something about that kind of shit. Marijuana is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But when we start selling this, we start selling this other shit to poison our women who are having our babies, and our babies are born with this stuff in their system. That becomes a problem. It's a long-term problem.
As a matter of fact, I don't know why our city has got their thumb up their butt about, or our state, about legalizing marijuana, just the tax revenue. And I know black people gonna say, well, it ain't gonna be us, Kev. The tax revenue that can be generated. Now, I'm glad Paris is on the show because he can tell you how much was made in Denver, where that money goes and how it's spent. That's another episode. But I just think that ain't no new cash crop coming. So I think marijuana has to be what you turn to, because of its many uses. Ewok said, I think that recording is exactly what I said, corruption. Mark Ross says he agrees with Vince. He said we had to get our heads out the sand and get back to basics and take back our families to rebuild what we've broken. And I hear us saying this is what we need to do, but we got to think about the implementation. Okay, now hold on. Hear me out. Ewok said as soon as black people get elected under the guise of helping us out, they don't do shit because they want another check from the people who fuck us all over. You gotta love Outlaw Radio.
That's the truth anyhow.
But when I talk about implementation, right? So if somebody says, Kevin, what would be your solution? I would say, I think it's very important for us as a community to be able to go to MPS with a curriculum for our children, for us to go and say, listen, we want roles in the schools. We want to come in. We want to be able to bring elderly people in. We want to bring the people who have the stories that can come in and tell kids about, hey, I went to, I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to write. I came from the Jim Crow South. I got a job and I went back to school and I ended up being able to buy a house, raise my family, whatever. We need interaction with our kids in this curriculum, because what has to happen is young male achievement and young sister achievement classes. Black men need to be going to these little kids, especially the young men, and pouring into them their masculinity and saying, listen, I'm going to help you establish a moral backbone. I'm going to give you a code of ethics. I'm going to set a standard for you to hold yourself to. We got to do that when they're young. It's too late to go in when he's 17 and he's out here wild. It's only usually one thing or one of two things that's going to teach him anything. One of them is incarceration and the other one is death. So I think the implementation of it, young fathers, in particular, young teenage mothers who are living in poverty, don't have access to resources for prenatal care. That's one of the reasons we have one of the highest infant mortality rates in the country. That's also the reason why when the kids are born, they fall into that, not being nutritionally sustained, not having two parents in the household, because nobody's going to these young sisters saying, hey, I ain't gonna look down on you because you're pregnant. We're gonna get you some new parents in class. And young brothers need to know. They need to know what it's like to be a young father. As soon as you say, hey, my girl's pregnant, how old are you? It's your first one? Hey man, enroll in these classes, brother. Let me help you. Let me get you set up for what's about to happen. I think we need to start implementing programming like that into our kids when they're young. And then they'll go to school and they'll learn, and their math skills will develop, and their reading skills will develop, and they can take on these jobs. They'll be qualified to take on these jobs. That would just be one of my solutions. When somebody would ask me, what do you think the solution should be? Kamar, what you thinking over there? I see your head turning. What you thinking?
No, I was agreeing with you. I was shaking in agreement.
Okay.
Hey, Kevin, my solution. I
agree with both of y'all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Both of y'all speaking real shit.
Kevin, the only thing that I can do is, I've lived in other countries and I've been a part of the JC. So wherever I've been somewhat of a humanitarian for the elders and the people that are in the community. The only thing that I can do, and what I'll continue to do, I'm mentoring young boys, 9 and 10 years, who have been already feminized, trying to help them become somewhat masculine if I can. This summer, I've probably mentored in the group 15 or 20 of our kids. If I go do something that I normally do, I'll try to take one of my kids with me. One of my 9-year-old Sunday, I took him to my guy. He flips houses, so gave him the opportunity to see this house completely gutted. I'm going to take them back when it's done. So we got to start. And what I'm trying to do is to be the example that our kids need to see to be able to look and see something different. The three boys down the street, if I go to the golf course, I'll take it with them and give us time to bond. They live with their mother. They don't have a father around. It's not the mother's fault because one of the first child's father passed away and she just happened to not have a man. But to have us in the community and wherever I am in my community, this general area here, the kids, our block from here to whatever is clean. The men are examples. We get up in the morning. We don't allow the women on our block to pick up any paper. When they get up out of bed, there's no paper on our ground. If there's some in there, somebody's got to watch. You come on my block, you're gonna think you're in the white suburbs, but you're not, because we are better people than that. The only thing that I can do is to be an example to the kids and to our elders and to women that we are respectable. And one of the things that I was saying today is that the women in that video that you showed were allied and getting money from somebody that's doing harm to our community, but they won't support me, Kevin. Every time that I'm down at the Common Council, they're on the other side. And we don't have support in our community. Black men don't have the support that they need because all of these systems in this city, the child support, I've been through it all. I mean, I was made to pay $600 a month in child support. I made to pay $15,000 back child support. Everything goes against us. We as Black men of color or culture, got to start coming together and doing this and working this out together. We need to go back and start looking at Marcus Garvey and all these people that were before us and what they did and how they destroyed us as a people. And if we can't come together, right now, when I went to Guam, the most pivotal thing that I learned in Guam is how colonization wiped out their culture. They're not Guamanians, they're Chamorros. And when they came, when the Europeans and everyone else came to their country, they took their culture, and they're taking our culture. We don't even know who we are anymore. Our elders who has all of this information and this knowledge, they're dying off and they're not passing it on. And this is their way of eliminating our culture completely. We don't know who we are. When you talked about schools, yes, we need to have schools with our history and our teachers in there. We don't have that anymore. Fuck Christopher Columbus. He ain't done shit for me. He never did.
Paris said for the fiscal year of 2023, marijuana in Denver, through their legalization, the tax revenue totaled over $282 million. He said by comparison, taxes generated by alcohol totaled just over $56 million. Taxes generated by the sale of cigarettes totaled approximately $234 million. Cannabis products are subject to a higher excise tax rate than either alcohol or cigarettes, and they are also subject to an additional 15% special sales tax rate. Okay. He said, according to the report, about 60 million of marijuana related tax revenue was directed towards public school construction, while another 25 million went to the state public school fund. Okay. So I mean, yeah, cash cow, baby.
Mhm.
According to calculations provided earlier this year by the Marijuana Policy Project, tax revenue derived from licensed retail sale of state legal adult use cannabis products totaled $3.8 billion in 2022. Since 2014, retail sales of adult use cannabis products have generated $15.1 billion. Yikes.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Milwaukee, and listen, once again, I understand that it's a conflict of interest for them. God forbid people of color start to, prosper and thrive. Your Department of Corrections will fall apart at the seams. You got a whole industry built on the backs of our struggles in this state. There's a lot of rich people living outside our community running these social service agencies. And when people tell, it's funny because when I got into social services, people tell me ain't no money in that until I start
Shit.
until I start meeting directors and chairmen and presidents and CFOs and CEOs of these places, and they make over $100,000 a year. I said, shit, I think I'm gonna stay in this. Not that I'm getting that kind of money, but I'm like, hey, it's something to aspire to, right? Um, so listen, Vince, I'm glad you came, man. And like I said, I'm not even trying to solve the world's problems through a podcast. I'm not that stupid. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. As smart as Kamari is, he doesn't know everything. Sometimes it's just good to sit down and kind of share because I feel like when the process is correct, we all leave better off or more informed than we were when we came, right? But I do want to ask you this because you said something very important. You said every time you go down there to fight, and we've seen this on the show where you had Sean Moore, you had Mama Freeman, you had yourself, all y'all from the same community, and none of y'all rock with each other. So what do you think it is about you in particular? Because like if people say, Kev, why people don't mess with you? I know why they don't mess with me. I'm an asshole. I can say that easily. Yeah, I'm an asshole. Everybody ain't gonna mess with me. What do you think it is that why people, like you said, people just don't want to mess with Vince Tony? I can't rock with Vince Tony. Why do you think that is?
Because they love money more than they love the community.
Okay.
I mean, let me tell you a story. I went down there. I take Kev. I talked to all these people. I went down there to Mama Freeman, and I took her on a field trip with me. Right. I say, Mama Freeman, here's the situation. We go to the South Side. We go to a Palestinian store. In that Palestinian store, we're Palestinians. We don't sell alcohol in this store because we're Palestinians, and it's against our religion to sell liquor to the store. And I took Mama Freeman there to say, hey, we got a Palestinian in our community selling us liquor, but his people don't do it to them. And Kevin, what his people said to me, it's about the money. They come over here, they're still honored their religion of not selling liquor. But we got somebody selling liquor to our people that's their religion goes against that. And the guy on the south side says to me, well, for the love of money is the root of all evil.
Okay. He
So
wasn't wrong. He
he
wasn't wrong.
wasn't wrong.
He
But
wasn't
why
wrong.
do we? I mean, I can't really answer that question, Kevin. I mean, you see what I do in the community with the kids. I've worked in child protective services. I've been in the military. I worked in corporate America. I have I don't mind sitting down to the table with anybody. But when I've got people in the community that are getting paid by people to keep them here, I have a problem with that. And I think with this young lady saying that she works at this store, I mean, they're against me because I'm against them making that money, right? I mean, we heard Mama
It seems
Freeman.
like everybody's against everybody. The people are against the store. People are against you. You're against them. The white man, he owned the building. He won't let you in. Everybody just got issues with everybody. It seems like there's no common ground with all these different entities that should be, perpetuating change in this community. It don't seem like nobody.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
getting.
think about Miss Dodge. She's asking people to come down to the school board meeting tomorrow. Nobody wants to collaborate with each other to rock anybody's boat. That's all it is in the city. I've never, it's weird to me, Kevin, how we as a culture. I sit here and I watch other cultures, the camaraderie with the men, and they get together and they make things happen. We don't do that in our culture. So I'm going to keep trying, and the only thing that I can do is try to help our children, our boys especially, to be better men.
You're right. Say, where's the love? I believe that was who was that? Where's the love? That's Donny Hathaway and who's the sister he sang that with? Classic song. Where is the love?
Yeah. Where is it? Yeah. My
Uh,
son, my son moved out of Milwaukee and he says, Dad, I'm not coming back there. Either I'm going to kill somebody or I'm going to get killed. And that's the kind of reputation that we have by a lot of people that leave here. We got a lot of brilliant people that are leaving our city that because of we're becoming a brain dead culture. Anybody that has knowledge, they're going other places and they're getting paid and they're being successful and they don't want to come back and they don't come back. So we're going to continue to dumb ourselves down if we can't do something in this city that attracts us as
Right.
a people.
Ewok said Arizona done made $2 billion off weed. Wisconsin want to keep it illegal because putting people in jail for it is work financially for them, of course. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's about what you say sometimes. I don't like to even say, well, marijuana should be legalized. I say it should be decriminalized,
Bam.
right? Because
Nailed
when
it.
we say decriminalized, then that means it won't be us doing time for it no longer.
Becoming a
Sitting,
felon.
right, sitting because of like a shame on you for being convicted, a convicted felon for just selling weed. Now, if you shot somebody over the weed you was selling, I get it. If you was moving weed across several state lines and you was beating people ass and burning people's homes down for it, I get it. But if you just the average Joe and they came in your house and you had 3 pounds of weed, I don't think that shouldn't be a felony. I don't think, and me knowing how the drug laws in America were established, when we start to talk about the racist nature of the war on drugs.
We have to
To
talk
start
about Biden and Reagan, right?
right, well, when you go all the way back to Harry J. Anslinger, who is the first drug czar, who attaches the racist stigma to marijuana, to drugs, period, because he needed something, right, to put on black people in their never-ending crusade to blame us for shit. Just go look up Harry J. Anslinger. So I want to thank you for coming, Vince. I want to thank you for coming. Good luck on your pursuits. And anytime we can talk solutions. And shout out to Sean Moore. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Mark Ross, who has a platform. Check out Sean's Cup cast tomorrow night. Check out Mark Ross's Catch Paris, catch Shabaka St. Cour. I love to see brothers with platforms so you can do you. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. Now I gotta talk about this before I go. So I don't know, Vince, if you got to get off or if if you want to rock with us for the rest of the night, but I got to
Go for it.
change gear. Because I I have been telling people about Tiny Desk concerts. Okay. And they are produced by NPR, right? And these Tiny Desk concerts are some of the best music you have heard in years, and it's by contemporary artists. So I think the first one that I seen may have been, it wasn't Erica Badu. It may have been Jasmine Sullivan. I love Jasmine Sullivan, by the way. I think she is in terms of young lady, the singers of our generation, I think Jasmine is the greatest. But this is live instrumentation. I'm telling you, dope. I keep watching these, and then rappers are coming on there with live band. Ludacris was on there. Not Lud and Juvenile was on there. I seen Tower of Power on there. And I don't know if people know who Tower of Power is, right? Tower of Power is one of the greatest. If you love music, especially, I'm a funk baby. I tell people this all the time. I'm a funk baby. I was born in 1975. I love funk music, right? I think it's the greatest thing ever. Over jazz, blues, whatever. I think funk is the greatest music ever. George Clinton has been on there, but Tower of Power was on there. They did What Is Hip. If you got to know about it. What Is Hip? This crazy, crazy song. And I seen Too Short on there. I just put Too Short up, right? Today I seen Scarface on there. If you are a Scarface fan or you ever have been, Scarface, Brad Jordan from the Ghetto Boys, you got to go see this. First of all, Face is playing a guitar with the band. He's playing an electric guitar with the band. But you don't realize how melodic his voice is. You don't realize how his voice is like an instrument.
Hey,
I mean,
can I
go
let
ahead,
me
come on.
while you right there? I remember a while back, right? Like a long time ago, I used to rock with Cocoa Butter. He was signed with Rap a Lot back in the day, right? He was also on Doug Banks in the Morning. You might remember him. He was on Doug Banks in the Morning. But I was down there with him, right, for a while. And I remember he was telling me, he was like, Face told me, he was like, man, when you rap, you should be able to dance to your words.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say that because that's what you just said, how melodic his voice was. And that's probably what he was alluding to when he told him that.
So it's Kamar, this is the evolution of hip hop, right? Because we're now growner than grown, right? I just turned 48 years old. I'm damn near 50. As you grow, I feel like your music has to grow too. It has to evolve, right?
Definitely.
And I question whether or not in 20 years, some of these rappers now will be able to give a performance the way this is done with a live band and pick up the guitar and play along with the band. But it's almost to the point where you can get a singer to sing Face's lyrics and they would have been beautiful songs. I'm telling you, just go watch it. Go watch I've always said Scarface was number 2 all time behind Tupac, right? I've always said that. That's how strongly I've always felt about Scarface. I think he more than solidified it with this Tiny Desk. Have you not seen it yet, Kamar?
I didn't see it yet. I will tonight.
Oh my goodness. When you see it, you're gonna say, whoa. Just because
I saw that he had one. I didn't get a chance to go watch it though.
Yes. And there's many more. There's like I said, it's old school artists, there's R&B artists. I can't even name all the people who have like classic artists who have Tiny Desk concerts, right? Like right now, you can go and almost all of them are dope, man. Like I'm just like, but with Scarface, like, okay, so for instance, the Diary album, I don't think people give the Diary the credit that it deserves in terms of great hip hop albums, right? I've always said Scarface took rap to a whole other place with the Diary.
Oh, yeah.
But you hear him on there do Mary Jane, the song with Tupac, Smile, and he does Seen a Man Die. I ain't got to the end of it yet because I had to come in and do the show. But he did on my block. Man, I'm telling you, it's dope. Go and check it out, man. If you really like, I'm at the point where I really like music. I like instruments. I really like the vibe of live music. So,
Kev, I would challenge you to go watch 60 Minutes yesterday. They talk about Ganawa. Kamar, did you see that?
See what?
60 Minutes Ganawa. They were talking about it. They honored Jimi Hendrix and James Brown and the likes. They've all went to Ganawa to play with this instrument that they have that they make out of sheepskin, and it's only got 2 little strings on it, and they're jamming, and Jimi Hendrix and everybody else went over there and jammed with them. You got to see it.
With those instruments.
Yeah, it was like it's made out of sheep, and it's the string is made out of sheep neck or something like that. You got to hear it. They like, I mean,
sheep neck.
Yeah,
that should sound painful.
For the sheep, it is
right.
But check it out, if you want to see something, and it's about our history in music and some of the things that we did and we've created to create music. And they even talk about, they have millions of people come there to listen to these guys, these African brothers play this music, and they get high off of it, and they get into a different spiritual realm. Kamar, I think you'll absolutely love it.
I'm gonna check it out. You said it was on 60 Minutes?
Yesterday, yep.
All right, I'm gonna find it.
I said, damn, Kev, my mom is 51. You old, and you got to live to get old. Just don't be no fool. You know what? I'm cool. Once again, I have had a great time in my life, man. Like some people tell you, oh, my life was so hard. And I had to struggle and strive. I walked 12 miles uphill in the ice storm to go to school, and I never had nowhere. I've had a fucking great life. My parents set me up off top. I had a great life. I had a great childhood. I lived in a great neighborhood. I've been associated with some great people. I've had great experiences, and I understand that getting older is part of it. So I don't trip on, I'm older. I would say I'm more seasoned than anything. And the only time you really hear me use the word old is because there's some shit that I'm too old for, like pettiness, right? I'm too old to be immature. I'm too old to be have tunnel vision. Like I gotta see the big picture. I'm too old to be locked in on one point and ain't flexible enough to move and navigate and maneuver. I'm
Well,
too old for that kind of stuff. But in everything else, man, I'm blessed, man. Like I said, my daughter just turned 21. My son's about to turn 18. That to me, that says you accomplished something, if nothing else, which is you were a father and you raised your children.
absolutely.
Now I got a long list of other shit I done accomplished, but
Yeah.
that one is right at the top. So you can't do that at 25. You got to you got to get up there to have that done. So I don't trip off my age, man.
Well,
I'm
Kev,
happy.
if you old at 51, I'm ancient at 65.
I'm
Shit.
only 48. So
That's it, man. I feel younger than I felt when I was young.
I think people be surprised too when I talk to them and I say, Vince is like 60 something. People like, what? Is Vince really
65.
that old? I'm like, yes, man.
I'm not old. See, that's the wrong word to use. I'm not old at all. Ain't nothing old about me.
They say I didn't know that. He looked like he about 50.
I am. I'm
Right.
not. I'm not old. I'm never gonna accept that.
Okay. All right. You are how you feel, right?
Yeah.
You're right, Paris. I don't know if the diary was slept on, but I just don't think because it's sold. I think Face went platinum with that. But my point was this music that people said wasn't real music. Oh, that's trash. Oh, there's just a bunch of niggas talking shit. You listen to Scarface doing Smile, and he say, as you head towards the tunnel's light, I hope it leads to eternal life. May the prayers that your family's made smile upon your soul and keep you safe. Like you didn't even. This dude was dropping just. Man, it's go watch it, man. Go watch it.
Hey, Kev, it's called Tiny Tiny Desk.
Yes, Tiny Desk. Go to they have, like I say, it ain't just rap. I'm a hip hop head, but I'm a funk head. I love to hear them old school artists from the 70s and 80s played instruments.
Mm-hmm.
I love to hear that. I will listen to almost. I'm on that. I've been on that for some years. Shabaka Senko. Shout out to Shabaka. How you doing, my brother? He said, I'm over 60. I'm old as hell. I just realized that. Only old as you feel. Mama Jenkins said, I totally agree. I'm thankful for my life in spite of the trials. I'm 72 and happy on this journey. I hope I live that long because then that means I'll get to meet my grandkids and possibly my great grandkids. I would be the happiest man on earth to be able to sit with a big group of people and say, this all come from me and my wife. This is our family. I would love to be able to. I hope I live that long. So I ain't tripping on aging. People just be, like Kamar said, it's always the dude who eat pig feet that got something to say about Whole Foods. You drive down the street talking about, look at them dumbass vegans and you eating flaming hot pork skin. That's me. I'm people. I'll be on some bullshit. I'm joking. He said, check out Mo. I'm already, look, Motown, Stax, Chicago Soul, Curtis Mayfield, any West Coast Solar Records, Sound of Los Angeles, all of that stuff, man. James Brown, Roger Troutman, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Ohio Players. That's what I listen to. I listen to rap, but I love funk, man. I'm telling you, it's that's where it's at for me. She said, I'm enjoying my great grands. It's amazing. I can only imagine, Mama Jenkins. This is a blessing. Say, man, let me see what else I got. Oh, and we got to get this brother on here. We got to get Randy Jones on here. Because Randy Jones he's running for 7th district alderman. Randy Jones is a good dude. Randy Jones, he was down with us. Like he came on. I'm talking about 9 years ago when I was doing live from 3041 at 3041 North. Shout out to Keith Terry. I was bringing politicians in, Lena, Mandela, DC, everybody. If they was running for something, I was bringing them in. And Randy came on a couple times then because he was running for alderman. He didn't get elected, but Randy is a stand-up dude. He's a dude who's been a mentor to a bunch of young brothers, works in the community. So I'm looking forward to supporting him with that. So shout out to Randy Jones. I'm gonna wait till we meet again to talk about some stuff because it falls kind of like out of tune with where we at. But I do want to talk about Rashard Mendenhall. Rashard Mendenhall is a former NFL player who had a pretty good career. And And there's always been this thing with sports writers and the way they criticize black athletes. I live in the podverse, so if you kept up with the whole Kwame Brown and you watch Stephen A. Smith and how he moves, and you watch all these athletes, and I always talk about sports, and I think sports has a very important social significance in this country, because usually whatever's going on in the community or in the country is going on in sports. We know that there's some very racist institutions in terms of ownership and whatnot. But the writers, their critique, these individuals actually in some cases control who goes into the Hall of Fame, right? And a lot of times it's cats who ain't never carried a ball in their life. It's dudes who ain't never been good at a particular sport. And in particular, it's usually white dudes. And so this is what the whole controversy always is with Skip Bayless when he criticizes NBA players, and people say, motherfucker, you average 0.3 points a game as a high school player. But you made your living talking about basketball players. Rashard Mendenhall said he's tired of old white dudes who was never good at no sport criticizing brothers. He said, can we get rid of these all-star games and have all white squads against all black squads against all white squads? He said, I guarantee you we show then who the athletes really are. And he said, your GOAT is not my GOAT. Your GOAT is not better than me. So I'm just saying, I like that statement, because it is time I get tired of little wimpy white dudes sitting back writing newspaper articles. They go after these brothers' families. This every year for celebrity, you get millions of dollars a year. They cross the line a lot of times. And there are some good white athletes out there, but if we think about a team full of nothing but the best of the best brothers, no team in no sport is going to beat them in whatever it is. I don't care what sport it is. It could be goddamn pinball. If it's all of the best brothers, nobody's beating that team. So, that's why I watch the Packer game, and people get on me about that. It's like people getting on me about eating hog head cheese. Like, we supposed to be boycotting the NFL forever. Well, because, the boycott.
Man,
the boycott and all that.
Let's be real. The boycott been over, man. When the players went back to playing,
there you go.
The boycott was over, man.
I've been holding it because all I do is watch the Packer game. I don't support no other team.
Ain't nothing wrong with that either, because you know what I mean? It's a fact that it's ran like white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It's a fact. You know what I mean? So I get it, but I'm just saying, like, the boycott part is over.
Right. But I'm realizing when I'm watching it that, these young brothers are being controlled.
It'd be hard to watch the draft now, though. I just be wanting to see who the Packers get. Like, it's hard to watch the draft because that's exactly what I feel like. Like, dog, this is slave auction, man.
It is, man. The combine and jumping high, your wingspan,
all that, man. All that.
It's the strongest nigga.
Right.
I reflect on the story that I tell, like my senior year in college playing ball, and I just remember one day I had this like aha moment where I was like, let me get this straight. This white man's gonna blow a whistle, and I'm gonna go to running through these bags full speed, and he gonna say, "Good job,"
boy,
and I'm gonna say, "Thank you, coach." And then I'm gonna go to another drill, and he gonna blow the whistle, and I'm gonna run into the sled. Rawr! Sometimes he'll stand on it and make you drive it 15, 20 yards. He say, "Good job," and you say, "Yeah," right? I understood that for me, it was more about being prepared for the upcoming game because you had to be prepared. You have to be prepared. But I said, I don't want to do this no more. My whole life, it had been, I want to go to the league, and I want to, all my realization of I'm not running through no more bags and no more cones, and I'm not jumping up and down no more. I'm going to get me a degree and go home and get me a job. It was that realization. And when I was having that conversation with my wife one night, she just cracked up because I was like, and I used to be running through them bags fast too. They said, "Whoa, that boy is good. Look at that big old black nigga right there."
Right.
Go get him, Kev.
Can't wait till it's my turn. Can't watch this, coach.
Destroying him.
I feel you.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Now look, don't get me wrong. I got a lot out of it. I wasn't forced to do it. I wasn't manipulated into doing it because it was one of the like it's something that brought me real. I couldn't think of anything that I would rather have done more than play football when I was young. It was what I loved to do. But as I got older, and I like you say, some shit you just get too old for. So at about 22, 23, my senior year, I'm like, I think I might be too old to be running around cones. I don't want to hit the sled no more, coach. So when I watch sports today, I see that they don't mind watching us and being our fans as long as we're entertaining them. But anytime we want to take a role in administration or we want to take a role in governing something or getting involved in it on the financial level that they're involved, doors close in our face. Yeah, go run around the track. You fast, boy. Go run, boy. Cause like Kamar said, okay, coach, I can't wait till I get downstairs. I'm finna run my ass off. That's how we be. We got to get out of that mentality, man. We got to start telling our kids it would be great if you grew up to be a first round draft pick, but it would also be great if you grew up to be an NFL general manager
Right.
or a owner, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's that's as equally as great. So sometimes it's us all the time. I'm running out of excuses for us. I am, y'all. I'm running out of saying the white man, the conspiracy. I'm starting to look at us
I've
and
been
say,
done with that shit.
Yeah,
there you
me
go.
too. It's
I've been
us.
done with that
It
shit.
ain't nobody but us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
We drinking the Kool-Aid and we have for a long
I
time.
found out I was the only one in my way.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
I mean, people might be mad at me, but my trip back to Guam was an adventure trying to see where I would want to relocate. And I talked to some brothers over there that live in Okinawa, Japan, Portugal, and different places. So we have to look at the world and not just this country. And what I learned about this country as it pertains to us and this country is nothing more, nothing less than a corporation.
Okay.
That's all it is for capitalism for England.
We've heard that. Who knows what will come? That's why I'm gonna have a good time while I'm here. Kamar, what you got going on this week, man?
House of Vitality, man, every day.
There you go.
House of Vitality every day this week.
There you go. For me, it's just closing out this week, doing what I do at work wise. I'm gonna be off all next week. I'm gonna chill. One thing I said I'm gonna do this Christmas is because this is my last Christmas with my kids as kids. Moving forward, every Christmas now they'll both be, for all intents and purposes, adults. So I'm gonna enjoy my family this holiday season. I don't care if brothers getting mad talking about you pray a white Santa Claus, and I don't give a shit what you're talking about. We gonna fellowship. We're gonna eat good on Christmas Day. We're gonna enjoy each other's company. We're gonna enjoy being around each other. And my spirit is of giving. It ain't whether or not I'm celebrating somebody named this or that. I want to help people. I want to send people to the holiday break, even at my job. I want to send you off with something. I want you to be able to say, when we come back, there's going to be more to come from Mr. Barnes. The spirit of giving, man. Being a servant leader is really what I'm really focused on, trying to become more so in 2024. And really just having a peace of mind, man. All the arguing and all the loud, you can keep that shit, man. I'm chilling. I'm going to enjoy the time I got left. I'll tell you that. Vince, what you got coming up? You got any meetings? You said you got a meeting with the police chief or captain tomorrow?
With the captain, yeah. So I went down to see the Chief Norman because of the drug paraphernalia that I'm seeing around our community. They said I have to go through the Fifth District before I can go there. Well, I talked to the police there, and she didn't call me back, but I saw her at a community meeting, and now I set up that meeting. But for me, Kev, I'm going to continue to be who I am. I'm going to mentor. I got a kid that I'm mentoring now. A few of them that I mentioned, but one in particular, I've taken him. I know a guy that I work with. He's flipping houses, and he said within 3 to 5 years he wants to be a millionaire. So I'm taking kids around him to see his product and see what he does. He, had some people do my porch. So I have kids come over here and look at the craftsmanship. We are master masons and master brick builders and bricklayers. All of these things that we master that they use are things that we master. So I'm going to continue to do what I do. The kids down the street, the three boys down the street, I'm going to bring them over. We're going to have a pizza Sunday and watch Marcus Garvey, because we got to start looking at our history, and our kids don't know where they come from, and they don't know how powerful these people were that came before us, because nobody's telling them. I never heard about Marcus Garvey when I went through that MPS kind of white school stuff, but I'm going to stay, and I'm going to continue to take care of my elders. One of my elders passed a couple of months ago. Miss, I call her Mama Nash. I didn't realize it, but she was the mother of my sister's husband, who I met at 26. And before she left, my sister asked her, somebody asked her, well, how you doing, Mama Nash? She said, I'm doing fine, baby. I'm just sitting here waiting for Jesus to walk by and pick me up. I'm just going to chill, because we don't know when we're going to leave this place. So I'm with you. I'm going to chill, but I'm going to continue to do what I do, advocate for our community, our people, our children. And that's it in a nutshell. And I have fun doing it. I'm not like, it's not pressured. It's natural to me, because I believe that we can still, I still believe that we can, as a people, we can succeed in this city if we start, especially the men, start to come together and work together and stop accepting all of these grants and all these other monies that they use to manipulate us and turn us against each other.
My mic was muted. Keep the faith, as they say. Shabaka says he has no offspring, will be no legacy of me, just my past episodes. Oh, Paris said, well, you got me and Lady Shay. Shout out to y'all. He said, if no sports, wouldn't be no Ali Boumaye. Earl Henning said, eat what you want and smoke and drink what you want. Yeah, man, do you, man. Do you, man. But try to be smart. Try to have balance. Try to exercise moderation. What you can be really, really strict on yourself. I don't know how true this is biologically, but I did have a doctor tell me when, in regards to my high blood pressure and all this kind of stuff, he said, it's very important for you to maintain a very strict diet. It's very important for you to watch what you eat, watch your salt intake, stay away from sugar if at all possible. But every now and then, if you want a steak, go and get you a steak, because being happy is part of being healthy as well. He said, if that's what makes you happy, I'm not telling you can eat steak every day, but if that steak makes you happy and you've been disciplined and you've been over yourself and you've held yourself accountable, go and get you a steak. Because at the end of the day, you got to be happy no matter what you do. A miserable life is not one you want to live. He said, I love seeing black athletes smashing white athletes. The witch doctor is right. We did an episode of blacks owning their professional teams. Wouldn't that be nice? He said, I love watching Muhammad Ali smashing white hopes and sellouts like Patterson and Terrell. Didn't he whoop Patterson ass? Woo, shit. Them whites too busy pocket watching our black athletes. We are the original commodity of this corporation, aka country.
Nailed it.
Listen, man, I want to thank y'all for coming, man. Share the show is all I ask. Not much more. I'm going to try to get some apparel in, and so we can try to get some off before the winter. Share the show, man. Share the show. Support Nature's Nature. Go to the House of Vitality in the Sherman Phoenix. I know I'm due because I need some elderberry. Yeah, Courtney said, shout out to Courtney. She said she was sick. I had actually spoken to Rail yesterday. Rail said he had been sick. Hey, these bugs are out here, y'all. They're out here. This is the time of the year where and I learned this from Kamar, you really got to get your immune system pumped up, right? So it's real, man. And eating oranges and getting the necessary vitamins and all that kind of stuff. You got to do that, man, because you will get sick. I told y'all last week, man, I would have been coughing every other word. I was hacking. My wife is like, and my wife she gonna give you a COVID test. You cough in this house, she going up your nose. You will take a COVID test. One way or another, you're gonna take a COVID test. So yeah, man, we gotta be aware. Yeah.
Can you do a show next year on our history? I mean, I've sat in the garage with you and listen to you give me history lessons about our people. I would like to hear you do a show on our history and your knowledge of what you learned from your mother, from your schools that you went to, and all of that, because I think it would be beneficial to us because we're losing a lot of that. And you're an old soul when it comes to understanding our history and where we came from. I would love to hear you put on a show that talks specifically about who we are and where we came from and why we're where we're at today.
We try to sprinkle it in on Outlaw Radio. We try to sprinkle that, like, because I'm one of those people who believes like you got to give black people teaspoons. You can't give them big spoons because they didn't want. They won't eat it up. You got to feed them. They say feed the people, right? You have to feed them knowledge. You got to create a base for it. And so, if when people are interested in our history in this country, because it's very, very interesting from the time we got off the boats up until where we are now. It's a hell of a journey. And it's a lot of shit that people don't know. It's a lot of things that people think are facts that are actually not facts, right? So maybe we will one day, if I can get, but I wouldn't want to be the only one on it. I would like for everybody to be able to share and kind of contribute to the conversation, because when we start talking about how we got to where we are now, it's many different things. It's many different players and parts. So, that might be something we could do in the new year, just to talk about, because we talk about our greatness in terms of our history all the time. We talk about who we are, actually, our role on this planet, our creation of things that nobody else can even conceive of, right? That's why I'm such a funk baby, man. We're all aliens. We're all aliens, according to Parliament Funkadelic. It wasn't the acid, trust me. But yeah, man, I want y'all to be good, man. I want y'all to keep your head on the swivel and be safe, be careful. Like I said, man, try to be healthy. It's one thing to just be like, fuck it. But it's another thing to say, at least I'm trying. That's all I ask of people, is that they try. It's like being a good person. You don't become a good person overnight, especially if you've been somebody who's left of the line. You got to start trying, and then it starts to grow. Before you know it, you're in full bloom, man. So shout out to all the black business owners. Shout out to all the black fathers. Shout out to my daughter, Taylor Chanel Barnes, who's 21 years old. She'll soon be a college graduate. Look, man, life is beautiful, man. You ain't gonna hear me complaining. And even if I did, who would give a shit? If you can be anything, be the type of person that contributes to their community. Be the type of person that is a person of action. Because if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution, you're probably a coon. I'll see y'all Wednesday night. Peace and love.
Peace.